Welcome to my attempt at retracing history. If you look at the copyright on this game, it's copyright 2003. This, my friends, is one of the first ever games published by Adam Ryland, better known as the man behind Total Extreme Wrestling, the series that I basically built my channel around. But now I'm going to try and jump backwards and show you Extreme Warfare Revenge. And I'm going to open up this game, because it's a game I just started for the purpose of this video, well, also for the purpose of I'm missing TEW at this point. The reason that TEW is not around is because my computer, the computer that I have TEW on, well, basically, it's old, and some of the parts needed to be replaced, so I had to send it away to be replaced. With that being said, I needed a replacement. So for right now, your replacement is Extreme Warfare Revenge. And if you want to know what's in the background, basically what's in the background is the gimmick generator, which I'll get to in a second. Basically, I'm going to be saying that a lot in this video, basically. In this game, the differences between TEW 2016, especially in this game, are very, very, very prominent and very prevalent, because you have more control over your sponsors and ways to make money in this game, as well as, well, no, not, I was going to say also developmental, because also you can see who has the highest merchandise sales of anybody in your company. And if you see, say, I don't know, Johnny B. Bad is number 10, and you want him to be number 5, to start pushing more money and to sell more, you could push Johnny B. Bad more. I mean, for the fact that Hulk Hogan is, number 13, number 4, that's kind of like, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. The other big part of this is, this part of the game would become creative meeting. And, well, this is how you would start. This is how I start every game when I used to play this game, and this is where my addiction to TEW started. This is where my addiction to TEW started. Sorry, there was a piece of paper somehow in there. And this is where my addiction to TEW started. And, I would always take at least a half hour, 40 minutes to try and get going with it, because of the fact that you always needed to hire more people. You always needed to hire more people, because the more people you hired, you always needed more people, let's put it that way. I'm gonna hire you. Now, I just want to make sure you guys know that most of the people in this game are not actual writers. I mean, yes, Lord Alfred Hayes is, but most of these people are not actual writers. The road agents, on the other hand, some of them are actual people. Jim Crockett, Vern Gagne, and as you get further on, you have people, like Todd Grisham would be here, and, stuff like that. People who used to work for the big companies, who don't work for the big companies anymore, they'll be here. But also, I don't know if it's the same as it used to be for the, the baseball games, but, it could just be that they didn't want to put too many people in the game. well, you also, Bruce Hart's here, Killer Kowalski's here, Liz Thatcher's here. For some reason, Mark Madden's a trainer. Jesus Christmas, I can't imagine how good he'll be training people. Or he'd be training people. So I'm going to sign Bruce Hart too. I think we need medical staff, so I'm going to get medical staff. Okay, let's go back to Sophie and see how good we did, and see if we still need more. We need more writers and more road agents. We're currently running 2 shows a week. It's Nitro and Saturday night. It's Nitro and Saturday night. I'm going to get to the roster in a second once I start booking. But I just wanted to... Here it is. This is basically a... whatchamacallit? The difference in this, you actually can see, for your training academy, the power plane in this case, the graduates. I mean, yes, in TEW, it basically, every month, some new people come in, and sometimes they're from your academy, and you get the same thing. But in this case, in this game, you get to control who comes from your academy. I disagree. I disagree with this. Meltzer should be a writer. He shouldn't be a road agent. I mean, an announcer, rather. I don't know why Meltzer would actually be a road agent. Sorry, an announcer. Yes, I'm just signing random people because I want the fucking... I want to be able to move forward because I don't remember if I get hit with issues... if I get hit with issues based on not having certain things done. Okay, we're good. Head trainer. Here we go. I think this is Bruce Hart. The Developmental Territory Supreme Wrestling Federation. They also give you a scouting report, which is basically the hidden gems section of the creative meeting. As it shows, Ron Simmons is unemployed. Shane Douglas is working for ECW. Ken Shamrock's unemployed. Ultimate Warrior's unemployed. Muda and Liger, I believe, are working in Japan. Harley Race is still active, too, which is... I'm pretty sure he's still active. I'm not sure. Brother Love, Honky Tonk Man, Sergeant Slaughter, and just... The one difference is this game actually tells you when people in the competition's contracts are coming up to expiration. Namely, Owen Hart's contract's coming up to expiration, and maybe, just maybe, we need to find Owen Hart. So, here we go. We got Buff Bagwell. Here we go with the gimmick generator. We got Buff Bagwell, Conan, Brian Knobbs, Jerry Seggs, Public Enemy, Bam Bam Bigelow. Oh, no, not Bam Bam Bigelow. Woman, Eric Bischoff, Kevin Sullivan, and Ice Train. All their contracts are coming... all their gimmicks suck. I just wanna... You know what? I'm gonna save that so I can get to actually something else. So let's start with... And I'm also not gonna do all of this in the video because it's gonna get, kind of... redundant, I guess you could say. Well, duh. That's the reason why his gimmick's not working. His gimmick's arrogant, yet he's a babyface. Whoever would have, whoever thought that a babyface with an arrogant gimmick would work is crazy. I knew it would come out eventually. So we enter his name, Brian Knobbs, 35, American heavyweight mid-card face. Okay, so Knobbs is a 70 and overness. A 70 and overness. A 66 in brawling, a 9 in speed, an 18 in technical, and 67 in charisma. So 70, 66, 9. So basically, you enter his statistics, or his, stats, 18, and I believe it was 67. His current gimmick is Slob. Okay. And there we go. Oh, wait, hold up. I just realized we gotta fix the risk level, because this would give us gimmicks, and it may not actually work, because he may end up, well, basically, for example, one of the gimmicks they gave as, a possibility to change him to is Extremist. You're gonna sit here and tell me that an Extremist gimmick for a 40 risk-based company is a good idea. I disagree. Now I'm gonna tell you that in the normal game, I, basically would just go around, pick a gimmick that I think would work for them, and just do it. And with that being said, that's the reason why I'm just gonna go and do Jerry Sags, and that's it. And then I'm gonna, pick a different one. But you can even see, right here, Slob is a bad gimmick for Brian Knobbs. So it even tells you that it's a bad gimmick. Then you ask the question, if it's a bad gimmick for him, why the hell do they even bother giving him the gimmick in the first place? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. So he has the same overness as Brian Knobbs. I think he's got a 7. Yeah. 7, 12, 69. I don't know why it never goes over. Slob 40, okay. Can you imagine Jerry Sags as a comrade? That's really, really weird. Just the idea of Jerry Sags. Jerry Sags managed by, what's his name? Ivan Koloff. With both of them being, with the Russian gimmicks. That's just very weird. Oh. Well, this also happens too. Where you'll get an email from the guy telling you they don't like the gimmick. Meaning, if I typed it into the to the gimmick generator, it wouldn't be good. So how about this? I feel like this would be a good gimmick. So does Buff Bagwell. Alrighty, so let's go and, writing staff, okay. Well, I'm gonna take care of the rest of those gimmicks. Conan's, Public Enemy's, Woman's, Eric's, and Kevin Sullivan's, as well as Ice Train's, but I just wanted to show you this. Right at the bottom here. It shows, instead of, TEW 2016, where the game shows just the top 5 best people in the company, the franchise players, this shows the top 5 baby faces and the top 5 heels. Namely, the 4 Horsemen, Flair, Arn, Brian Pillman, along with the Giant and newly signed Bam Bam Bigelow. And then you have the top 5 baby faces. How Eric Bischoff is on the list of top 5 baby faces and why Eric Bischoff is on this list, I don't know. Sting, Hogan, Savage, and probably Scott and Rick. What else can I show? Well, this. This is how you create feuds. You basically click Start Feud. It's a basic version of what would become the TEW 2016 or even the TEW 2013 way of creating feuds. And, tag teams, titles, Harlem Heat's the tag team champion. Johnny B. Bad's the world television champion. Yes, the one-man gang is actually the United States champion. He won it from, I believe, Lex Luger last year. And the Nature Boy is the world's heavyweight champion. Also, a cool aspect of this game, and one that I actually missed, is you can ask your staff, your creative, if they think that the people who hold the titles currently should be the champions. Or if the title should be on somebody else. Which this usually means, like, say, hypothetically speaking, I don't know, the United States title, it's a, 80 image. Let's say I had, Johnny B. Bad win the United States title. Johnny B. Bad's popularity is that of which somebody who should be holding the television title. Which would mean, very likely, they would tell me, no, Johnny B. Bad should not be holding this title. And I also just want to mention this. The reason why the Cruiserweight title is not here is because it has not come back from Japan yet. Because at this point, it's right before... Well, I'll put it this way. Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero just started in WCW. And, it wasn't long after Dean and Eddie started that the Cruiserweight title would come back. So, good for that. I mean, it's good on that front. It will be here eventually. Well, this is the booking sheet. I just wanted to go back and check one thing. I'm guessing we're building to Slamboree because it's May. Because for whatever reason, the EWR year starts in May rather than January. This is actually the user log from the future games, but it looks, messy, I guess. The only other thing I can show before I get into the booking is, because I just wanted to show that, well, the only thing I wanted to show is this. The tweener aspect of things, where you can actually have tweeners in this, as opposed to just having clear-cut babyfaces and clear-cut heels. And by the way, look at the babyface roster and look at the heel roster. Look at the babyface roster and look at the heel roster for the mid-carders, as well as the lower mid-carders, the openers, etc., etc., etc. For future reference, I will be giving in the Cruiserweight title, and I just want to, book through the show to just show you how... Now I just want to book through a show to show you how things go with this. You have to go one at a time, section by section. Yes, in future games, this entire thing is cut out. But for right now, this is how it is. Let's go the Das Wunderkind versus Chavo Guerrero, with Das Wunderkind getting the victory. Put on a good match. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do this. Ric Flair versus well, Flair's a heel. I don't want to do... I was thinking about Ric Flair versus Scott Steiner, but I don't want to do Ric Flair versus Steiner, or Flair versus Steiner, so I think what I'm going to do is Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair, for the reason being, my idea would be Flair versus Hogan versus the Giant, and Randy versus Rick, but Randy and Rick, as well as the Giant and Hogan, just feuded. So the idea of having them feud again is kind of redundant. So there we go. The top two feuds are happening. Randy and the Giant and Flair and Hogan. And with that being the case, the thing I like about this game, though, is you can actually pick the people, and you don't have to work. You continue the feud, then you click down here, complete the segment. There's the interview. Yes, I love the idea of including, a Gene Okerlund or maybe, a Lillian Garcia with WWE, because, Lillian used to be an interviewer before she became the announcer, the ring announcer. I love having the ability to include another announcer, but it's just the idea that it's not really needed. You know what I mean? It's not really needed in some cases because you have, especially in this game, you get a better rating including Hulk Hogan by himself than Hulk Hogan with Gene Okerlund. You know what I mean? So that's why it's better to include it that way, or do it that way. Well, I basically paused to try and get a little bit more out, but I'm going to also try and avoid using certain people whose gimmicks aren't in the best regard. Like Public Enemy, like Conan, etc., etc., and I'm only going to use the people whose gimmicks that I changed, out of the Nasty Boys and Buff Bagwell. The reason why the Dungeon of Doom has an angle backstage is because, well, simple. The Dungeon of Doom are going to be featured on the show later tonight. I would say think of this as just an open challenge with Steve Mongo McMichael issuing an open challenge to anybody backstage. You know what? It's going... Wait. I'm sorry. It's... If only I could actually scroll down instead of having to click the arrow. I'm gonna book, because I found out that Mongo is a babyface, I'm gonna book Mongo against One Man Gang in a US title defense. Why? Because I feel like it. One Man Gang, US title, One Man Gang, One Man Gang, One Man Gang, One Man Gang. I know. How are you going to put the One Man Gang over in 1996 as U.S. champion? That's a good question. I don't know. For sure, I don't know. In short, I don't know. I think that they're back there. I think that they're a stable. Yeah, the Horsemen. The Horsemen are back there talking up the four-way elimination match later the triple threat main event between Hogan, Randy Savage, and the Giant. And of course, this match includes, come on, go up, Sting. Because I'm not going to book a show without having Sting on it. I'll book a show without Brian Pillman. And without Lex Luger, too. Meh. Then we move to this. And... You know what? I'm just gonna book the main event. This isn't how I normally book in this game. I normally do match, segment, match, segment, match, segment, match, segment. But just because I wanna, not take too long with this, I'm going to do match, segment, match, segment, match, segment. I'm not gonna do match, segment, match, segment, match, segment, match, segment. And I also just kind of realized that, the screen wasn't being captured, so you basically don't know what the fuck I've been talking about. So, there's no titles. So, that's kind of not a good thing, I guess you could say. Let's go Randy with the loss. Hogan gets the pin clean. And then we get a confrontation to end the show with Hogan and Ric Flair, because Ric Flair is going to be at ringside watching the match. This way, Hogan and Flair's thing can continue even more and be pushed even more. Okay, so let me show you how this goes. Well, you basically have a turn-by-turn direction of this is how the match went, this is what happened. Alex Wright won 1, 2, 3, opening match, 57, not terrible. Then we move to an interview with Hulk Hogan, building up his feud with Ric Flair. Backstage, yes, WCW would do it in the camera, but let's just say, for argument's sake, it's on camera. Now we move to the some tag team action with the Road Warriors up against the American Males, and, of course, Animal and Hawk get the victory with Buff Bagwell having a successful new gimmick debut. There we go. The Dungeon of Doom are backstage with Jimmy Hart and the Taskmaster. How do I put this? With Jimmy Hart and the Taskmaster rallying the troops, especially One Man Gang, who's defending the United States title later against Steve McMichael. Eddie Guerrero, solid match for who I put him against. I wasn't expecting anything much, but it's better than the first match, which is, something to write home about. Deborah and Steve McMichael come out and they build up, they do a short interview before Mongo's match against One Man Gang, and then we move to Mongo's match against the One Man Gang. Well, alright then. Much like TEW, and I keep referencing the game because anybody who has played TEW but's never even heard of this is going to know what I'm talking about. When you have somebody who holds the title, who defends the title, and the match doesn't get where it should get, you see the title drop in prestige. Well, that's exactly what Image is in EWR. A drop in prestige. Now we move backstage with Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Brian Pillman, and I believe Chris Benoit talking about Flair's match later tonight, or Flair's challenger being determined later tonight with a triple threat match between Hulk Hogan, the Giant, and Randy Savage. That Ric Flair promises that he will not be far away from that he will not be far away from, and he will witness. Speaking of Chris Benoit, if he is in the Horsemen, I don't remember. But speaking of Chris Benoit, Sting faces Benoit. Faces Benoit in by far the best match thus far, with an 81 overall. And of course, Sting gets the victory over the upstart from Canada. And then we move to the match that becomes the best match of the night. I'm hoping this isn't as far as the match went, because this is short as fuck. You could tell also, I'm gonna say this is, the people who write this are, well, you can't see my fingers, but marks. But either way, Hogan gets the win, and he becomes #1 contender to face Ric Flair at Spring Stampede, and the show ends with Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan having a confrontation with Flair at ringside, Hogan in the ring, and Hogan does the moves his hands across his waist, symbolizing that he wants the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. He wants Flair's belt. Honestly, as far as this game goes, I don't really know how you end up, rising up, or if you can even rise up as far as your status as a company from Cold to National to what have you. But either way, there's no popularity, and from what I remember, an overall rating of 77 isn't bad. It isn't that good, but it isn't bad. It's halfway decent. Just like it is in TEW. For those of you who don't know, I don't know how good I did without the popularity increase or decrease. A 77 is pretty good. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane to EWR, and I'm just gonna, quickly go through WWE and their sponsors. Wow, WWE fired Gerwitz. Fired Teddy Long, Chad Patton, Mike Sparks, Doc Hendricks. They fired Michael Hayes. They fired Test, Jeff Hardy, Aaron O'Grady. I'm just gonna say this is from their developmental. I believe they have Memphis at this time, so they're firing them from Memphis. Scott Putski didn't get fired from Memphis, I don't think. Gangrel did. And no, it's not Matt Hardy, ! Instead, they're driving it home. Wow. Holy crap. They basically killed off their entire developmental. This is fucking crazy. I think this is TNT's way of telling me that they want me to either get better people to where Eric Bischoff is not one of my top guys, or they're not happy with the rating. They're not happy with the 77. And as far as this is concerned, I know I prefer it to in TW how it is with it coming up it coming up on the match, but what are you gonna do? What can I do? Well, that's why Eric Bischoff is an 88. Because, that's why Eric Bischoff's one of the top 3, because he's an 88. Scott Steiner's an 86. Rick's an 80. So Rick's right behind is closer to his brother than he is to, Eric Bischoff. But I really don't understand why they want me to get better people. Unless Brian Pillman. That's why. The heel roster is very weak. With Pillman and with basically Pillman being one of the top people, and Bam Bam Bigelow being one of the top people, and then you have, hundreds upon hundreds, you have Sting, who's a 99, Hogan who's an 100, Bischoff who's an 88, even Eric Bischoff is tremendously more popular than my fourth most over heel. So basically they're telling me to get better heels. and you also have Randy Savage, which basically what I mean is, they're not comparable. They're not comparable. Even the Giant's not comparable to babyfaces, because the Giant's at 89. Savage is a fucking 97. Savage is a fucking 97. You know what I mean? They want me to get better heels, so that's exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it off camera, because I also want to, fix people's gimmicks and move on and book a couple more weeks, because I started another season, but I didn't like where it was going. So I'm going to show you top sponsors, top guys, etc. See, I don't feel that bad, because Paul Heyman's one of ECW's top guys. The only thing I want to say is this, that I feel like TEW, one of the main things that improved with the game was the idea of an increase in people on free agency. I mean, I know it may just be that people on free agency aren't where they are because of, written contracts with WWE or, a whole host of other reasons. Like, there may be just more people coming in, etc., etc., but I feel like that's something that really blew up in TEW, that being the extension of free agency. And the last thing I want to touch on is this, because this basically gives you a window into, Mitsuharu Misawa. It's like, dirt sheet. It gives you a window into the dirt sheet world. It shows you rising stars, Jeff Hardy, Andrew Martin, Christian York. Whether I know if these are actual sites or not, I don't know. You can let me know down in the comment section. I mean, they're even building up Chad Fortune's debut soon, Bam Bam Bigelow to debut. They're posting rumors that the Ultimate Warrior is going to be signing with the WWE. And they're going to be, they're saying, oh, Bam Bam Bigelow, Elizabeth to Playboy. If I was interested in clickbait, I'd actually make that. Well, actually, I don't think I could. I don't think I could. Because people would probably take that legitimately. He's not telling me. He's not telling me nothing. What the fuck? I mean, of course Chad Fortune can't wait to debut. He's fortunate to have a contract. See what I did there? Okay. After that lame joke, I think it's time to say, if you like this video, please feel free to leave a comment, and because I want to hear from you, and I want you to let me know if you like this series and would want to see more EWR, because I love going back in the wrestling time machine to a bygone era. But if you don't want to leave a comment, you can always leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time. Later.